Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gaur Premanande Hare 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 Krishna. So today is the fourth day of the seminar. So I wish I could be there as I planned before. At this time, I wish I could be in central New Jersey, be with all of you. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. But I'll make it a point to go there when I go back, when things open up. And so today, we are going to discuss about Mahaprabhu's teachings through Ramananda Roy. Ramananda Roy is one of the most important associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Consider that Ramananda Roy, Sarup Damodar, Goswami, Shikhi Mahiti, and Shikhi Mahiti's sister, they were the most intimate associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For last about 12 years that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent in Jagannath Puri, just relishing Krishna consciousness, then Ramananda and Sarup Damodar were his constant companion at that time. And also through this discussion, Sri Chaitanya, through this discussion with Ramananda Roy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established the very essence of Braja Bhakti, Braja Prem. Right? Ramananda Roy, all of Mahaprabhu's associates are different associates of Krishna and Radharani. In Ramananda Roy, we find the presence of 4 of Krishna's associates. Ramananda Roy predominantly is Vishakha Devi. And in Ramananda Roy also Lalita Devi is also present. And Arjun, the Pandava, and also the Arjun, Krishna's cowherd boyfriend of Vrindavan. So these 4 personalities are there in Ramananda Roy. Ramananda Roy was the governor of King Prataprudra, who was dominating to present-day Andhra Pradesh. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was told about Ramananda Roy by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So it is felt that because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was an impersonalist, he could not recognize Ramananda Roy's devotion. And maybe he even used to make fun of Ramananda Roy and his devotion, as the impersonalists generally do. But later on, when he became a devotee by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he recognized Ramananda Roy's exalted position as a devotee. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to meet Ramananda Roy. When he decided to go to South India, then he suggested that when you are in South India, meet Ramananda Roy. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while traveling to South India, he came to the bank of Godavari River, and seeing Godavari, he recalled Jamuna, and the forest on the bank of Godavari reminded him of Vrindavan. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for a long time danced and expressed his joy in being there. And then after crossing the river, he was sitting on the bank of the river. And then he saw that one person came in a palanquin carried by palanquin bearers, and also many brahmanas were chanting the Vedic mantras. And so this person, very majestic looking person surrounded by royal entourage, he just came there and took bath in the river. And after taking his bath, he saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sitting under a tree. And seeing him, he could recognize that this must be that personality about whom he heard so much. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also recognized that this must be Ramananda Rai. And so Ramananda Rai came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and asked him who he was. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed his identity, and he also asked whether he was Ramananda Rai. So this is how they met, two eternal associates, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his most intimate devotee. And they embraced each other. People are surprised to see. Generally, in the Vedic culture, sannyasis don't have anything to do with materially opulent persons. And the others are, and generally such an exalted personality, a governor, why he is embracing a sannyasi. So those who are there, they became very surprised. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand that. So he suggested that they meet again some other time. So the next evening, Ramananda Rai came to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu alone. And they sat down, started to discuss, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asking questions to Ramananda. And Ramananda Rai, we can see, although he was a governor, he was very humble. He was identifying himself as a Shudra. Shudra means a person who takes any kind of job, whether it's the job of a Brahman or a Kshatriya, he is considered as a Shudra. And so that because Ramananda Rai was holding the position, a paid position, although it was a position of a governor, but he considered himself to be a Shudra. And anyway, this shows how humble a Vaishnav is. Generally, people become proud of their exalted position. But here we can see Ramananda Rai, in spite of his very, very exalted position, even from material calculation, he was considering himself to be of the lowest class. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Ramananda Rai, and now that I met you, I would like to know what is sadhya and sadhana. What is the goal of life? What is the ultimate objective of life? And how to achieve that? What is the ultimate spiritual objective and how can one achieve that? So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked that to Ramananda Roy mentioned that to follow the Varnashram system is goal of life. See, in the Vedic culture, the custom is that whenever one says something, to substantiate his statement, one has to cite Vedic support, Vedic proof. Can't just say things like that whimsically. It has to be substantiated. And so in order to substantiate that, Ramananda Roy quoted the verse, Varnashrama Charobata, Purushena Parapuman, Vishnur Aradhate Pantha, Nainam Tattosha Karanam. Is citing the scripture. To follow the Varnashram system is the goal of life. And besides that, there is no other way to please Krishna. Nainam Tattosha Karanam. Vishnur Aradhate Pantha. Following the Varnashram is the way to please, way to worship Vishnu. And besides that, there is no other way to please him. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected that, saying, well, that's a material consideration. And he pointed out why. This actually has been explained by Srila Prabhupada in one Bengali book. I think it has been translated. It's a booklet, about 50, 60 pages. And Prabhupada is giving this, why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is rejecting that. And Prabhupada pointed out that he rejected because the performance of Varnashram is based on guna and karma, the modes of material nature and one's activity and propensity. It is a material consideration. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected that. Then Ramananda Roy gave the that performance of karma, karma yoga, is the goal of life. And he cited the verse, Jat karosi, jadasnasi, jat juhosi dadasi jat, jat tapusho shikonteya tat kurusha madarpana. Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, whatever you do, jat karosi, jadasnasi, whatever you eat, whatever you perform in sacrifice, whatever sacrifice you perform, jat juhosi, jat tapashoshi, whatever austerities you perform, whatever you give in charity, tat kurusha madarpanam. You offer the results of those actions to me. So that is the principle of karma yoga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected that also, saying, Iho bhajyo, this is also external. Aage kaho, tell me what's beyond that. And then Ramananda Rai mentioned about karma tag, renunciation of karma. And he cited the verse, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvang sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Give up all sarva dharman parityajya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected that also, saying that this is external. Why? Because this is also, this dharma that is talking about is mundane dharma. And yes, surrender is there, but actually it is still dealing with the materialistic aspects. Then Ramananda Roy spoke about Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Jnana, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, na sochati na kankshati, sama sarveshu bhuteshu, mad bhakting labhate para. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Being situated in the transcendental platform of Brahman realization, and at that point he is na sochati, he doesn't have any lamentation or kankshati, hankering. He doesn't lament, he doesn't hanker. He doesn't lament for things that he lost, or he doesn't hanker for things that he doesn't have. And at that stage, he is completely equipoised. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu. And at that point, he achieves the bhakti para, transcendental devotional service. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected that also, saying that this is also external, meaning this is also mundane. It has tinge of mundane, like Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, na sochati na kankshati. This hankering and lamentation, he is free from that, but it is the other side of the coin. Like not to desire material things is connected to material nature. Not to lament for material and not to hanker, also material. So in this way, as long as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could detect some material touch or material contamination, or the contamination of the material aspect, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected that. Even this, because ultimately karma and jnana, karma mishra bhakti is mundane, desire for material enjoyment. Jnana mishra bhakti, desire for liberation. Although it's bhakti, but it's tinged with the desire for liberation. Karma mishra bhakti tinged with desire for material enjoyment. Therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it has been clearly pointed out, Jnana Karmad Anamritam. So, bhakti, as long as it has desire for fruitive results, results are being offered to Krishna, but the thing is that it's being executed with a material desire, and then the result is being offered to Krishna. So, and similarly, jnana, there is desire for liberation. Therefore, Chaitanya Charitamrita is saying, karma kanda, jnana kanda, kevali bishero bhanda, অমৃত বলিয়া যেবা খায়, নানা জনি ভ্রমণ করে, কদর্য ভক্ষণ করে, তার জন্ম অধঃপাতে যায়. The Karmakanda section of the Vedas and Jnanakanda section of the Vedas are actually two pots of poison. Two pots of poison. Keboli bishero bhanda. Vish means poison and bhanda means pot. And omrito bolia jeva khai, mistaking them to be nectar. When one drinks that, he simply travels through different species of life. Nana jani ভ্রমণ করে, কদর্য ভক্ষণ করে, and he eats all kinds of abominable stuff. তার জন্ম অধঃপাতে যায়. His life is meant to be doomed. So then Ramananda Roy cited Anna Bhilashita Shunnam Jnana Karmad Anabritam Anukullena Krishna Nushilanam Bhakti Ruttama. He comes to the point of pure devotional service. What's the definition of pure devotional service? Anna Bhilashita Shunnam, devoid of all other desires besides serving Krishna. Free even from the tinge or covering, abritam, jnana karman, anabritam. Avaran is covering, and anabrita means that coverings are removed, free from those coverings. When the devotional service is free even from the coverings of jnana and karma, and accepting whatever is favorable to Krishna consciousness. Anukullena Krishna Nushilanam Bhakti Ruttama. That is pure devotional service. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted that. He said, yes, that's it. Tell me what's beyond that. Tell me further. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then Ramananda Roy mentioned about devotional service in the mood of neutrality, Shantarati, Shantaras. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted that. He said, but tell me further. Age kaho, tell me further. Then Ramananda Roy told about devotional service in servitorship. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted that. Then Ramananda Roy told about devotional service in friendship. Then Mahaprabhu accepted that. Devotional service in parental love. Then finally, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, what is beyond that, or tell me further, then Ramananda Roy spoke about devotional service in conjugal love. So this is how gradually he came to the highest level of devotion. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu still mentioned, tell me what is beyond that. Then Ramananda Roy mentioned that there are many Krishnas dancing with many gopis in rasa dance. But there was innumerable gopis, and in between two gopis there was one Krishna. In the rasadas, in the circles, that's how they are dancing. But in the middle of the circle of Rasa Mandali, there's one Krishna dancing with one gopi. So this gopi must be very special. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested him to continue further. And he explained that at one point, this gopi in the center, who Krishna was dancing alone with, at some point she became upset and she left the Rasa Mandali. Then Krishna left all the 16,000 gopis and followed her. So she must be very special. And so in this way, the identity of Radharani as the highest of, topmost of all gopis had been established. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted him to further elaborate the identity of Krishna and identity of Srimati Radharani. And so Ramananda Rai, through this discussion, established that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. As we know from Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna is not an incarnation, but Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Ete changsha kala pungsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. All these innumerable incarnations are Krishna's parts and parts of the parts. And this Krishna of Vraja is Akhila Rashamrita Murti. His identity is the reservoir of all the transcendental mellows, Rasaraj. So that is Krishna's identity. He is the Anandamaya, and the Ananda is enjoyed through the experiences of rasas. And this Krishna is the embodiment of all the rasas. And therefore he is the supreme enjoyer who is full of, whose identity is just enjoyment. Anandamaya, Ananda, joy is personified. Krishna is the embodiment of all the Anandas. And Radharani is the embodiment of all the bhavas, Mahabhav. So love becomes thicker and thicker, as we discussed the other day when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to Rupa Goswami. Just as sugarcane becomes molasses, then from molasses comes the sugar, and from sugar comes the candy, sugar candy. Similarly, this also, love also becomes more and more condensed, like Sneha, then Man, then Pranay, then Rag, then Anurag, then Bhav and Mahabhav. So Mahabhav is the highest mood of loving exchange, or highest mood of love. This love cannot be experienced by anyone other than the gopis of Vrindavan. Only they experience that love. And the embodiment of that love is Srimati Radharani. Krishna is Rasaraj and Radharani is Mahabhav. Mahabhav Swarupini, Radha Thakurani. Srimati Radharani is Swarupini, the embodiment, personification, the personification of this intense, most intense love for Krishna. She is the personification of that. She is the personification of Ladini Shakti. Ladini is the pleasure potency. Krishna has three potencies: Sandhini, Sambit, and Ladini. The Sandhini aspect is the existence aspect. We exist, that is due to Krishna's. Our existence is the manifestation of Krishna's Sandhinish potency. We are conscious that consciousness is the uh, expression of Krishna's Sambit potency. And Ananda is comes from Krishna's Ladini Shakti. And Krishna is Anandamoy, Krishna is a supreme enjoyer. And this personification of Ladini Shakti, Radharani, provides Krishna for all his enjoyments. She is the personification of Krishna's pleasure. She provides all the pleasure to Krishna. And also then it is pointed out that not only she enjoys with Krishna, she derives greater pleasure by engaging others, other gopis, in uniting with Krishna. When she pushes the other gopis, although they do not want to, but she actually forces them, no, you go and be with Krishna. You provide the pleasure to Krishna. And by doing that, she derives the joy hundreds and thousands of times. So this is how Radharani's character has been established. And then at one point, he actually pointed out that this Rasaraj and Mahabhav have become one. Rasaraj, Mahabhav, Dui. This Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the energy and energetic. Rasaraj, the supreme enjoyer and the supreme enjoyed through devotion, personification of devotion. The energetic and the energy became one. So in that discussion, ultimately, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu covered Ramananda Ray's mouth. Okay, fine. There is no more to discuss because now his identity is going to be revealed. And then Ramananda Roy started to sing one song which was composed by himself. Pahilehi Raga Nayana Bhanga Bhelo. Prabhupada pointed out that this song was actually composed by Ramananda Roy himself. And he sang that. So this is how the ultimate consideration of love, ultimate consideration of the life's mission, life's goal, is this devotional service of Vrindavan in the mood of the gopis, which is in conjugal mellow. And in that conjugal relationship, the highest is Srimati Radharani's position. And this has been very beautifully explained by Sanatan Goswami through his Brihad Bhagavatamrita. In the first part of Brihad Bhagavatamrita is showing Narad Muni's search for the greatest devotee. And that search started from a Brahmana in Prayag. And Brahmana, and when Narad Muni, so impressed by his devotion, just approached him and told him that you are the greatest devotee. Then this Brahmana said, no, I'm not a great devotee. What devotion is there? I'm a Brahman, it's my occupation, so I'm worshipping the Lord. But the king in South India, he is the greatest devotee. So Narad Muni goes there, and when he started to glorify him as the greatest devotee, he says, no, no, I'm not the greatest devotee. I'm an ordinary living entity. What is so great in my devotion? The real devotee is Indra. So in this way, Narad Muni search goes on, and all these personalities, whoever he approached, they were just pointing out someone else as the greatest devotee. And in this way he comes. Indra points out Brahma points out to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva says the residents of Vrindavan, residents of Vaikuntha are the greatest devotee. And then Parvati mentioned that actually Lakshmi Devi is the greatest devotee in Vaikuntha. But when Narad Muni was about to go to Vaikuntha, then Lord Shiva tells him that even greater than the residents of Vaikuntha is Prahlad as a devotee. So Narad Muni goes to Prahlad, and as he was glorifying Prahlad Maharaj said, what devotion was there in me? It was just some childish attachment that I had for the Lord. And he was protecting me time and time again. That actually led into some dependence, but there was no devotion. Devotion means service. What service did I render? But consider Hanuman. So Narad Muni goes to Hanuman. Hanuman points out, no, I'm not the devotee. Leads them to Pandavas. Then Pandavas lead him to Dwarka. In Dwarka, they just recognize that Uddhav is the greatest devotee. And then he goes there to see Uddhav in Krishna's inner chamber. Then he finds that Krishna is actually lamenting. Krishna didn't wake up that day, didn't get up from his bed, because he's lamenting for the devotees of Vrindavan. And seeing Krishna's condition, Brahma instructed Vishwakarma to create a new Vrindavan, a replica of Vrindavan. And there, when Narad Muni sees how Krishna is dealing with the residents of Vrindavan, especially with Radharani, so he realized that. So this is how very systematically we find in Gauriya Vaishnava culture that how the Vrindavan is the highest place of devotion, and in there Radharani is the greatest of all devotees. And that's why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentioned that those who worship Vishnu, they're Vaishnavas. Those who worship Krishna, they're Karshnas. But those who are worshippers of Radharani, they're Gauriyas. So we are actually worshippers of Srimati Radharani. We are Gauriyas, Gauriya Vaishnavas. So that means that we are the worshippers of Srimati Radharani. Bhakti Vinod Thakur also is saying, Dhamer Charu Sfuribe Noyone Hoibo Radharo Dashi. When the actual identity of the holy Dham will become manifest in my eyes. Generally, we go to the holy Dham, we just see the earthly, external. But he is suggesting that when I'll be able to see the actual Dham, penetrating that external covering that is created by Maya. And I will become, when I'll be able to see the actual Dham, the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And I'll become a maidservant of Srimati Radharani. We'll become the maids, that is our destination, that's our goal. When we'll become a maidservant of Srimati. So it's a very vast subject, so I just tried to cover it in a short few minutes. So does anybody have any question?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, do you want to announce results before we go there?
Oh yeah, right, yeah. So the results of the fourth day, total number of participants are 79, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 in first position. I'm sorry, 4 in third position. We go from third, second, and then to first. And in third position, they have got 93% accuracy. So Shushmita Radhika Dasi, Bangalore, Premarupa Radha Dasi, Surat, Rachit Kultur, New Jersey, and Radha from New York. So the 4 of them in third position. Also in second position, there are 4. They got 96% accuracy. And they are Mukta Purush Das from Surat, Mukunda Priya Das from Surat, Rajagopal Das, New Jersey, and Satvik Saraf from Surat, and Mithiladhish Das from Bangalore. So 5 in second position with 96% accuracy, and with 100% accuracy, Karthik Saraf, Surat, and Sudevi from West Bengal. And thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Madhupati Prabhu wanted to say some few words, vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Madhupati Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisance that the Lord Spirit, all glories to you, all glories to Srila
Jai
Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you very much for enlivening us for 5 days. It was a wonderful session on teachings of Lord Chaitanya, including conversation with Ramananda Roy. On a very short notice, immediately you agreed that we'll do this virtual class, and it, though not directly a retreat physically, but we were able to use the technology in Krishna's service. And thank you very, very much, Maharaj, for giving us these blessings and wonderful nectarian instructions. And
Thank you.
Maharaj, we can have more sessions like this. Probably once a month, and that's fine.
Yeah, sure.
On different topics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like the lockdown is going to go on for another month in India. So yes, in May I can be available for another one.
Okay. Maharaj, and I see a lot of messages saying that everyone is saying please and yes. They're all excited to hear and they want.
Yeah.
Requesting.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that. Yeah, actually, I'm also enjoying doing that. Like, the other day I was telling Shivram Maharaj that we are doing more preaching this way than when we are traveling.
Yeah.
You know, like in this way, every day at least I'm contacting about 1,500 to 2,000 devotees.
Very
Like, thank you. Thank you so much.
So I think from our end with this lockdown, initially we will get opportunity to hear only on Sundays. Right now,
Right.
currently we are hearing every day.
Every day. Yeah, right. Right. That's true.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
keeping us engaged, keeping us away from what is going around us, and it's completely being absorbed.
Yeah. And I'll also admit, you know, the benefit of this lockdown or this situation. You see, even when we go give seminar, even when I give seminar, I give a seminar, but then I get caught up with so many other things. The topic of the discussion actually skips the mind, you know, but here, I mean, it remains because, you know, there is nothing else to do, you know, like when you're preparing and when you're speaking, all that actually stays with you. And thank you. Thank you so much. Krishna's mercy.
We'll
Yeah.
discuss about the other topic.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Sure.
Thank you. Now, I also
Yes.
had one question before it can open up for other questions, if you could permit. This was regarding your yesterday's session about the Chaturvyu expansion. Sorry, the Chaturvyu expansion to you mentioned about Vasudev Krishna, Dwarka Lila, and then Shankarshan, Balaram becomes Shankarshan, and Pradyumna and Aniruddha. There is also a Dwarka in the spiritual abode, right? So this will be Mool Shankarshan in the spiritual abode itself, right?
Yeah. Actually, this is just a projection of spiritual Dwarka.
Okay.
You know, in the material world, in the earth planet, it's a projection of that Dwarka.
Okay.
There's no difference. Like, yes, that Shankarshan is originally he's from Dwarka, that Dwarka.
Okay.
And Krishna's first expansion in Vrindavan is Balaram.
Okay.
And then, you know, like further expansion, Chaturbhuha, then Narayan, then their Chaturbhuha. From there, Vishnu, Purusha avatars, Vishnus. And then from that Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu. And from Kshirodakshay Vishnu's different incarnations.
Okay. And continuation of that Dwarkadish Krishna, then we know about the pastimes of Lord Jagannath, that how he becomes Lord Jagannath. So in the spiritual abode also we have Lord Jagannath.
Yeah. Yeah, in spiritual abode also, Lord Jagannath. In spiritual sky also there is Kurukshetra.
Okay.
Kurukshetra is somewhere between Dwarka and Vrindavan. So, and from there Krishna is kidnapped and he is taken to Vrindavan. And that kidnapped Krishna is Jagannath. Kidnapped Krishna is Krishna of Dwarka, desiring to be in Vrindavan.
Thank you very much.
So it's scientific, you know, like, I mean, you can see that how can it not be the truth? All that is, you know, otherwise, how can anything be so systematic? You know, like from whichever angle you look at it, you know, it makes perfect sense, you know. There cannot possibly be any doubt if a person is properly exposed to this presentation, the presentation of the Vedas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madhupati Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, Punachandra Prabhu wanted to say something before we open up questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Punachandra
Yes,
Prabhu.
Purnachandra.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for giving your valuable time. I also want to thank Madhupati Prabhu for his guidance and continuously helping us to arrange, and all the devotees who helped us, and all the devotees who last 4 days continuously attended. So I want to thank everyone, Guru Maharaj. Also, Guru Maharaj, the quiz part, I don't know who is arranging that, but that also played a vital role for many of us. So we want to thank them, those devotees also.
Yeah.
Guru Maharaj, we want to do special thank for Rajagopal Prabhu. He was nicely arranging. Plus, I know first day after the session we were speaking, and he was feeling little sad that more than 100 devotees were trying, but they couldn't because there was a limit of 100. Then he himself went ahead and took the additional plan to now attend 500 devotees. So then the last few days,
Actually, we have the capacity of 600. You could have told us, Rajagopal. We could have conducted it from here.
yes,
Maharaj, we had a link from this Zoom into YouTube. So beyond 100, they did not miss it. They were able to hear from YouTube. So,
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I want to thank Guru Maharaj again. And Guru Maharaj, about the one more question we wanted to ask about the Prasadam distribution you mentioned in Ujjain as well as Zealand.
Right.
There were some devotees who wanted to do some donation or help. So what would be the right way to do that?
Well, Sunil Sham can be contacted.
Okay.
Sunil Sham can take care of that.
Okay. So they can do in Veda Foundation, they can do all this.
Yeah. It is being done. Under Veda Foundation.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And I want to tell about that.
Yes.
Like 2 channels in DLAN want to interview our, or broadcast our food distribution. And we are getting amazing, appreciation from the police department, from the hospitals. And yesterday they went to one hospital and they distributed 40 pizzas, 40 boxes of sweet fried rice, 40 boxes of noodles, and 100 cupcakes. Just in one hospital, they distributed. So, yeah, I mean, they're really happy doing that, and people are appreciating it so much. Like, just we are a small establishment, but we can do so much. And the devotees are very happy. I tell them to be very careful and take proper precaution. And so, yeah, it's going on very nicely.
Thank you very much.
Channel 9 and Channel 6 are going to do the news of our Prasad distribution. Thank you.
Very much.
Guru Maharaj, can we open up for questions? Guru Maharaj, we have quite a few lined up today.
Sure. How many you have?
We have 3, 6, 9, and I have a question as well, Maharaj, if time permits, but I think there's too many, 10 of them.
Okay, sure.
Shefali Mataji, she had it yesterday. I think she said she didn't want to.
Okay, right. Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shefali Mataji, you are on unmute. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Shefali. You have to unmute her.
Yes, Maharaj. For some, she's on unmute.
Yeah, okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So nice to see you. And I don't want to take much time on this. And I totally agree with Madhupati Prabhu and Purnachandra Prabhu that let the mercy flow. Let your mercy flow. These were the 5 best days of lockdown.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
So I would just like, and we will look forward to many more times like this. And yes, Houston is equally waiting for you.
Yes,
So,
yes. Yeah, I'll be visiting. Yeah, when it opens up, I'll go to Houston.
yes. So Guru Maharaj, my question is, like, since we've been talking about it, and as you said, it's so vast and it's like so deep, but coming to the main thing, as we in Gauriya Sampradaya are worshipping Radharani, and as you explained that is the highest form of service. So we see that a lot of people who are not into Iskcon or Gauriya Sampradaya are continuously visiting Vrindavan. They don't even know the difference between God and demigod, but they believe and serve Krishna. They even chant the process of chanting, and they're following the process of chanting. They're chanting 16 rounds, 25. So like, how do Krishna reciprocate to their love, or in what is their goal, or what is their destination, and how do they perceive towards it? As you said, it's pretty systematic, it's pretty systematic. So how are they proceeding towards it?
I think coronavirus will help them. They're going to be forced to, question.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times we see people other than Iskcon believing and following chanting process and visits and serving Krishna. But
well, it's all happening because of Iskcon. Like
yeah,
30
exactly.
but
They don't know. Right.
30 years back, hardly anyone used to go to Vrindavan.
Right.
And today, like Vrindavan, the whole of Vrindavan throughout the year has become like a marketplace, thousands of people. And all these, Goswamis, caste Goswamis are giving, Krishna Katha, Krishna.
Yeah, all are talking about the same.
Bhagavat Saptaha. And it's all because of Iskcon. Before Iskcon came to Vrindavan, hardly anyone used to go to Vrindavan. Anyway, so it's all Krishna's arrangement. Let's see what Krishna wants. He wants it to spread all over the world, in every town. And it will happen through Iskcon.
Okay, and one more question, Guru Maharaj. Like in one of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Ramanand Roy, when he says which deity worship is the best, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Radha Krishna deity worship is the best. To Ramanand. So when he says Radha Krishna deity worship, does this equally imply to our temple devotional services and we have the Radha Krishna deity there? Or does it mean that we at home should install Radha Krishna deity, or even serving Gaur Nitai, Laddu Gopal, whosoever you have in your capacity is equally fine? Whom does he emphasize?
If you can take care of them at home in that way, then you can do that, install Radha Krishna deities. But I personally feel, actually not I personally feel, Prabhupada also did not really appreciate people devotees having personal Radha Krishna deity, because Radha Krishna worship is very, very lofty. So rather have Gaur Nitai deities at home. And otherwise, Prabhupada wanted devotees to just come to the temple and worship the deities.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Even I read that Prabhupada says you should directly not approach to Radha Krishna. So that's what I'm saying, that going and paying your services in the temple, and does that leads to the same what the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Ramanand Roy?
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, We have Prasanna Prabhu who wants to speak and who wants to donate N95 mass for cooking seva. I would like him to speak on that, just to mention that. Prasanatma Prabhu, you are on unmute.
Hare Krishna Dandot.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prasadama.
Thank you so much for such wonderful classes all these days. It's such a bliss, and as one of the devotee mentioned, this is best 5 days of the lockdown. But I would like to, if needed, I would like to give N95 masks and gloves and sanitizers or anything needed for devotees if they are going to hospitals, either in D-land or wherever the food distribution is going on. Surgical gloves, because those commodities are rare these days. I want to share that.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, you can send them to D-land. Yeah, that'll be appreciated. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. We have next we have Rajneesh Prabhu. You are on unmute, Prabhuji. Go ahead and ask question.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, you have mentioned Ramanan Rai. He represents 4 qualities, 4 associates of Krishna. That is Vishakha Devi, Lalita Devi, Arjuna as Pandava, and Arjuna as Vrindavan. So Guru Maharaj, can you share some of the leelas where he really represents those qualities of these associates?
Well, you see, like, I don't want to get into another long discussion, right? Yeah, I mean, what you are suggesting that I give another class.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Maharaj, I have another question. So, as a devotee, so being in Grest Ashram, so can we also take up the responsibility of Varna Ashram, engaging all our family members like wife and children in devotional service as a servant? Can we do that?
Yeah, sure. Just become an ideal grihastha. That means grihastha ashram. Prabhupada is saying that ashram means a place where Krishna consciousness is practiced. So grihastha ashram means those family members, they're staying at home, but they are practicing Krishna consciousness in a proper way. That is the grihastha ashram. Otherwise, it's a griha medhi. Like they're staying at home, but their consciousness is stuck at their home. Like they may be thousands of miles away, but the center of their attention or consciousness is their home. Right? Whereas the grihasthas, ashram, they are staying at home, but their consciousness is in Vrindavan, Krishna's lotus feet. Yes, the ideal householders should make their household into an ashram.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Rajneesh, thank you.
Maharaj, we have Sham Kishore Das Prabhu. He actually had a question. He didn't know how to raise hand. He just did that. Sham Kishore Prabhu, you are on unmute. Go ahead.
Haribol, Sham Kishore.
Please accept my humble obeisances in your lotus feet, Guru Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Guru Maharaj, I had 2 questions. First question is how to ensure that we get the same spiritual benefit of hearing through computer or phone as hearing in person.
It depends, whatever the medium is, what really matters is that how deep it is entering into your heart. Right? Hearing is the medium through which the message is entering into your heart. Whether it is through telephone, whether it is through computer, whether it's through Skype, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's through Zoom, or whether it's, personally hearing. Like sometimes, you sit in a class personally hearing, but where is your mind? Right? Mind is probably not in the class. Mind is, 25,000 miles away, right?
Yes.
So, so the main consideration is how one is hearing, irrespective of the medium, but how much it is entering into one's heart. All right.
Yes, Guru. The second question is
Sometimes some devotees did tell me that this kind of classes in Zoom is more effective than hearing in personal situation, being personally present. All right.
yes, Guru.
Because maybe one can focus even better.
Guru Maharaj, and one time you mentioned that by serving Lord Chaitanya sincerely, then as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed himself as Radha and Krishna, we will also see like that. So how can one come to that stage?
Say it again.
One time you were mentioning in a class that if one serves Mahaprabhu, then as Mahaprabhu displayed himself as Radha and Krishna, similarly the devotee will also see like that. So can you mention?
Okay, yeah. The thing is, when one achieves the perfection of serving Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he will see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha Krishna. In place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one will see Radha Krishna. And this is how he'll enter into Vrindavan. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Yes, Rajagopal.
Maharaj, we have few more questions. I would like to ask a question, Maharaj. I had it yesterday, but I was giving a pass, if you don't mind. One question I had was, you mentioned Goloka Vrindavan, the Krishna is Nanda Maharaj Yashoda Krishna, and Mathura is Vasudeva Krishna. And Maharaj, my understanding is that Krishna left Vrindavan at the age of 12 and he reached Mathura and he never came back to Vrindavan. So Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, spiritual world, is always Navayavana. I believe he's always 16-year-old. So how can I relate that the 16-year-old was connected to Yashodamai and Nanda Maharaj in Goloka Vrindavan in spiritual?
Yeah, the first point is Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Right? Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Krishna is always in Vrindavan. When Akrura came to take Krishna, do you remember Akrura went to take bath in Jamuna?
Yeah.
At that time, Nandanandan Krishna went back to Vrindavan and Vasudev Krishna came and sat on the chariot.
Okay.
Right? So Krishna went back to Vrindavan. Krishna never left Vrindavan. Right? And Krishna there is Navakishore in Vrindavan. It's 14, 15 years old. And that is his eternal form there. Only in Bhoma Vrindavan, earthly Vrindavan, Krishna, when he performs his pastime, there is his performance of his pastime of his being born and growing up gradually up to that Navakishore stage. In Vrindavan, that Bala Lila and Poganda Lila in Golok Vrindavan is not there. They're there in the form of some recollections. Oh, they remember, when Krishna was just a little child, he did this. Krishna as a child did that.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
We have Simantwa Dvi Prabhu. Please go ahead and ask question. You're on unmute.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. It's very wonderful to know more about Sri Ramananda Rai. So, Guru Maharaj, I have one question, like very little question though. Like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, like Mahaprabhu often showed Odhirudo Bhav. So my question is like Odhiruddha Bhav and the Mohabhav, which is shown by Srimati Radharani, is it same, or is there any kind of difference, something like that?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is similar. Yeah, the highest form of devotion. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hi.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. We have Mohan Govind Prabhu. Please go ahead and ask question.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, Dandavad Pranam. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Guru Maharaj. The question I have, Guru Maharaj, is like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had the discussion with Ramananda Rai, the conclusion Ramananda Rai gave was devotional service in the mood of Vrajagopis. But then on the other hand, Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion gives the top 5 limbs for devotion. So is it because, so which one we need to follow, Maharaj? Like, since we cannot practice in the mood of Vrajagopis, we need to stick to Rupa Goswami's 5 limbs, Maharaj, Guru Maharaj?
Right. Yeah, but you render service in the mood of servitorship. We all are servants of Krishna. Therefore, we have to serve in the mode of servitorship. Then what Krishna wants to award, that is different. It's up to Krishna. Okay, first we are Dasya. Jiver Sarupa, Krishna Nitya Das. And then we, what Krishna will award us, that is up to Krishna. Like as master can accept a servant at some point as a friend, right? But the servant cannot demand, oh, I want to become your friend. You see the point? Devotees never claim or demand that I want this mellow, right? But the master can award a certain relationship to his servant. All right. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, we have Karunika Gopika Mataji. Mataji, go ahead and ask your question.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Maharaj, I was reading Nectar of Devotion, chapter 5. In that it says that mystery of Vaishnav cult, devotional cult. So Rupa Goswami says that who is doing the regular devotional service, there is no need of question to fall down. But due to some circumstances, they might fall down. So then if they fall down, then they do not need to do prayaschit for the reformation. So it is simply they execute the rules and regulation, and that they get back to devotional service, and this is sufficient enough. So this is the mystery of Vaishnav cult. So why we don't need to do prayaschit? If we do something wrong, then we need to do something to make up that things. So why we don't need to?
Who asked you to do prayaschit?
To do we don't need, means if we do something wrong, we fall down, to make up that things, we do the rules and regulations, but we did some fault, we did some mistakes. So for that, we need to do some to cover up, right?
No, you don't need to. Just come back to Iskcon. Okay. And continue your service in a humble mood. Like if a big devotee in Iskcon falls down, it's not that he'll have to, Iskcon is asking him to leave. Iskcon is saying that you stay, continue to serve, but not in a big position. You get the point? Or if a person leaves the movement after falling down or due to fall down, then if Iskcon's door is open, you can come back anytime you want. But come back and serve in a humble mood. So and it has happened to many devotees. They were very exalted leaders of the movement, but unfortunately they had some spiritual difficulty. But when they wanted to come back to Iskcon, Iskcon's door was open to them.
Okay.
And the prayaschit is chant Hare Krishna, follow the 4 regulative principles, and render some service in a humble state of But the main point is don't fall down and don't leave Iskcon.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, we have Gita Kirti Mataji. Mataji, you're on unmute.
Hari Bol, Gita Kirti, Radhika.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the wonderful lecture. My question is, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Rai, what's the ultimate spiritual objective? Why did he go through so many stages? He being the spiritual identity of such exalted personalities, didn't he already know that serving in the mood of gopis was the highest? Was he asking for our benefit, or how do we understand
Yeah.
this?
Otherwise, people may think, well, that is actually better. Karma Yoga is the way. Jnana Yoga is the way. Ashtanga Yoga is the way. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pointing out, no way, no way, no way, right? And he's bringing us into the point of devotional service. And this is the way.
Wonderful, very nice.
Okay.
One more small question. Mirabai was a devotee of Krishna. What bhav was she in, Guru Maharaj?
You see, one of our one of Srila Prabhupada's god brothers, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, mentioned to me once that according to Bhakti Vinod Thakur and also Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Mirabai's devotion was sentimental initially. But then he came across Rupa Goswami. And that is how she actually got access to pure devotional service. So point is, no matter how deep your love for Krishna is apparently, but unless and until you come across a bona fide spiritual master and take his instructions, you cannot be properly situated in devotional service. To become properly situated, you need the mercy of a pure devotee of the Lord.
Okay.
I mean, Mirabai undoubtedly was a great devotee, no doubt about that. And in India, we find that. So we have to understand that they're carrying on from the previous life, Sukriti from previous life. Otherwise, how can one develop such attachment to Krishna? But still, you need the Guru. That's why Krishna pointed out, even he needed a Guru. I mean, needed a Guru means he also accepted a Guru to show that you need a Guru to become situated in the spiritual life.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, we have someone from Galaxy J7. They don't have a name. I was trying to get that. Hare Krishna devotee, the one with Galaxy J7 Max, please go ahead and ask question. And can you state your name and ask the question? Hare Krishna, you are live. Yeah, go ahead, ask question.
Hare Krishna,
Yeah.
Guru Maharaj, my question is, Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, my question is, what is the difference between Nava Vrindavan and real Vrindavan?
Nava Vrindavan was created by Vishwakarma on the request of Brahma. There, it was just a replication of Vrindavan. Like it looked like Vrindavan, but it was not Vrindavan. They were murtis of different gopis, different cowherd boys, Mother Jashoda, and so forth. So that is Nava Vrindavan, new Vrindavan that Vishwakarma created. Just a model of Vrindavan. And Sudevi, I was very happy to see that you secured 100% score.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, we have Umesh Prabhu. Prabhuji, go ahead, ask your question.
Dandavat Pranam Guru Maharaj. Wonderful lecture.
Hare
Maharaj,
Krishna, Umesh.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Yeah. Hare Bol Virun.
So Guru Maharaj, this is a question from yesterday's lecture. Mahamaya is personified by Durga. Well, who personifies Yogamaya?
Durga is Mahamaya.
And Yogamaya?
Right? Yogamaya is in Vrindavan, Purnamasi is Yogamaya. In Dwarka, Subhadra is Yogamaya. Right? And in Vaikuntha, it is Yogamaya is same as Durga, but with 8 arms, Ashtabhuja. But the Mahamaya has 10 arms, Dasabhuja.
Okay.
So, Guru Maharaj, so how do we approach her? I understood that we should stay away from Mahamaya because she tries to, it's an illusory power she has. So how do we approach her, like for Durga, or how is it a way that we have to approach, or how do we?
Well, we don't avoid Mahamaya. We pray to Mahamaya. Not necessary, but when we come across, say we come to a Durga temple. We are not, disrespectful, but we pray to her, like see the prayer to Durga. Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sharvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namastuti. She's Narayani. And that is how we are actually seeing her. And as I gave the example yesterday, the policeman. The policeman is the same. To a criminal, the policeman is an object of fear. But a law-abiding person, a policeman, is a source of safety and security, right? When one sees a policeman, he feels safe. Okay, now I'm safe, right? So it is our attitude that actually makes her either Mahamaya or Yogamaya. And when you read Brihad Bhagavatamrita, second part, you will see when Gop Kumar is going back out of this material nature, the last layer of the universe is the layer of Mahamaya, right? And there he is praying to her. Naturally, Mahamaya is testing. Why are you leaving? Stay here and enjoy. And his prayer is that, please bless me that I can become engaged in the service of your brother. Right? Krishna is her brother. So she is, that's how we pray to her.
Okay. Thank you.
Guru Maharaj, one couple, few sentences.
Yeah.
This virtual retreat has been really phenomenal. I mean, frankly, it's we can focus. There is no distraction.
That's
and we
right.
are completely focused. But we
Right.
do miss your personal association and meeting all the devotees and the great prasadam that generally we have in our retreats. But this has been a really great experience.
Yeah. So we'll continue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So Rajagopal, is there any more question?
One last question, Maharaj.
Okay.
It's 9:26. Yeah. Dhananjay Prabhu, you are on unmute if you want to go ahead and ask question. Dhananjay Prabhu, I unmuted you. I don't know if you again muted back. Go ahead and ask question.
Okay. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. So so you said that Ramananda Rai was Vishakha, Lalita, Arjun from Pandavas, and then Arjun from Cowherd boyfriend of Krishna. So I was wondering who is Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, and Gita Ketu Mataji already asked asked about Mirabai, and you said that Mirabai was Rupa Goswami. So who is Sanatan Goswami?
Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari, one Manjari, one young girl in Radharani's camp, Radharani's servant. And Sanatan Goswami is Ananga Manjari. They are two Manjaris. Okay.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you so much,
Gaur
Guru Maharaj.
Premanandi,
That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for your time and association. You're very
Hare
blessed.
Krishna, Hare Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
As soon as Bhakti Charu Maharaj ki
Jai.
jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much to all the devotees. Stay tuned. This weekend is also jam-packed with programs. Sridham Prabhu from Chopati will be giving a class on Saturday from 10 to 12. Giriraj Maharaj is giving a class on the Tobacco channel from 8 p.m. on Saturday. Then as part of our ICNJ Japathon from 5 to 8 a.m. Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj is going to give a class from 8 to 9 a.m. on Sunday. Then on Sunday evening from 6 p.m. Radhanath Maharaj is giving a class on the Tobacco channel, and then as part of our Sunday program, His Holiness Jayadeva Swami is giving a class at 7 p.m. So take advantage, and we will keep you posted for next week's classes also. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.